Hello, sorry about the disturbance. Probably you might hearing some sort of sound is on the back. Is actually happening is because of that ki couple of people are kind of like a dancing. Let me show you. Okay, yeah. So this is where I live, and this is where people are kind of like a dancing. Okay, so do you see it? I don't know. I'm not seeing the stuff that I'm kind of like letting you see because I'm kind of like recording from front 35 episode. Sorry, front camera. So yeah, get it? So this is a kind of like some stuff. Why is that? Is because of that key they are like a practicing dance program for 14th of April. Okay, what's the 14th of April? 14th of April is Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Jayanti. Okay, so that's why these are people are kind of like simply preparing for dance and things like that. So that's why you are kind of like getting, but actually you are also getting my voice very much clearly, I think, probably. Okay, yeah. And this might gonna end soon, very well. End soon means like that, just within a 5 minute. Okay, so should we start? Alright, yeah. So this is my artifact episode number 3960. Yeah. Today's date is March 24, 2026. It's been almost like a morning at 7:17 a.m. Alright, let's just jump into the question. Let's go. Alright, so the question is, which foundation learning outcome must every child in India achieve by specific stage of schooling, and how rigorously are we measuring whatever those outcomes are truly being attended? Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is a question about the kind of like a education system in India. Okay, and why am I asking this question to myself? In the future, I wanted to become a education minister of India, and for that particular purpose, I need to know everything regarding about how do I supposed to do this thing. Obviously, it's not like basically this thing. I'm kind of like pre-recording everything because I think I might gonna implement that particular, like I will become that particular person after a 20 year. Okay, yeah. 20 year means like that key probably maybe 50. Okay, like after I cross 50, they might gonna think that key, then I might gonna think that key, yeah. But there are multiple possibility to if I do it or not. Just I just want to know. Okay, I just want, if I wanted to kind of like get into that thing, then I just wanted to be prepared of everything regarding about what outcome will I gonna face if I kind of like a step into the politics, step into the kind of like a simply the education thing and that. Okay, so basically, so that's why I'm actually asking this question to myself. Now let's talk about the question. Okay, yeah. So regarding about the question says that which foundation learning outcome must every child in India achieve by specific stage of schooling, and how rigorously are we measuring whatever those outcome are truly being attended? It's a very kind of like a difficult question. Okay, yeah. By the way, I wrote this question in here. Okay, yeah. Like basically what exactly happened? How do I supposed to kind of get this question? You are kind of like thinking that. So basically, this thing I kind of like put the prompt that ki, hey ChatGPT, I wanted to become the education minister of India, and before that thing, I wanted to know everything regarding about education policy. How do I supposed to do that and things and that and that. ChatGPT kind of like suggest me almost like a hundreds of question. This is one of those question, and most of the question actually in the mobile phone, but while recording I can't fiddle everything at all. So that's why I wrote question here. Okay, yeah. So here's a question. Okay, let me kind of like simplify this question in simple language. Okay, so this question is a combination of two questions. First question is that what are must have skill for every kid at the age of 9? Like means till the age of 9, what kind of like a kids should supposed to be get skill? And second question is, how do we know if kids are actually learning this thing or not? Let's talk about this first. Okay, yeah. how do I make, what kind of like some skills are really required for every kid till the age of 9. Till the age of 9 means like that at least like a till the fourth standard. Okay, yeah. And my Gurukul program is actually started from fifth standard. I am completely ignore that stuff like from first standard to fourth standard. I completely ignore that thing. First of all, is that ki why am I not kind of like execute my Gurukul program since the first standard? Why I'm not? Yeah, dude, that's a very essential question. Like, why am I not letting my Gurukul program since the first standard? Like, basically, is this thing, na, that's a very essential and crucial age. Okay, yeah, like at that period of time, okay, I need a two skill that student or kid should supposed to be learned till the age of 9. Reading and doing basic mathematics. That's it. Like basically, is this thing till the age of 9. I wanted that kid should supposed to be read. Okay, yeah, like a read, like this is a kind of like some sort of text. Okay, yeah. I wanted that kid should supposed to be read kind of like some stuff. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that regarding about they get the information or not. Well, that is a kind of like a bit more practical because of that. Did I read till the age of 9? Yes, I read. Did I kind of like simply do basic mathematics till the age of 9? Yes, like addition, subtraction, and things and that and that. But I think that like basically I don't really think from my point of perspective. Why? Because I live in India, and probably is this thing that India is a very diverse country. You not really sure regarding about till the age of 9 every kid should supposed to be kind of like a read and kind of like a do the basic mathematics. Probably everyone are, but some like basically in the village area and things and that and that and that. So it might be kind of like a little bit of kind of like something complicated, and that's a very basic essential age that kind of like doing the nourishment regarding about the knowledge and things and that and that. So how do I supposed to be kind of like basically is this in my Gurukul program I completely kind of like simply just neglect the first 4 year of the children's education. I think that my education system should supposed to start from the first year, not from kind of like a fifth standard. Okay. Obviously, till the fifth standard, the Gurukul will gonna establish. The student will kind of like go to the Gurukul. They will get the tablet. They will get the tablet and things and that and that. But before a first to fourth standard, I am not kind of like letting them give any kind of like a tablets or any kind of like a device. Okay, one thing. Another thing is that I am not kind of like giving them a kind of like they will stay into the kind of like a Gurukul. No, it will gonna start since the fifth standard. Okay, means first fourth standard means like that first standard to fourth standard. The conventional way of kind of like a student are teaching, these are same. Okay, like a student will come to the school, they will kind of like get the information and things and that, and they will kind of like go to the home. Okay, yeah. Now, why am I not having that hostel? Like, what if kind of like what if we kind of like let them come into the Gurukul since the first year, like since the first standard? Well, that is not possible. Why is that? Because of that at this early stage of the children. Okay, yeah. And if I kind of like simply keep them away from parents, then the bond between the parents and child will kind of like a little bit fade away since the beginning of their existence. Okay, yeah. So throughout the life, obviously is this thing, parents will not gonna stay with the kids, but it is really essential to have a bond between the parents and children. So I will not kind of like take that bond. Okay, because parents and children have a bond is very much essential at least till the age of 10. Okay, and I wanted to keep it that way. So children should supposed to be come to the school, teach, and they will kind of like go home, so that they will kind of like make the bond with the parents and things and that and that. Okay, another thing is that even if I kind of like somebody let those children come into the Gurukul, it's very much complicated for me. Why? Because of that this is the kind of like a beginning of year, like from the age 5 to age 10. These are kind of like a very vulnerable age. Kids doesn't really know anything about at all. uh, giving them discipline would be kind of like a bit more harsh, and they don't really understand the kind of like a realistic point of perspective regarding about how the world works and things and that and that. I'm not really expecting to be to them, but still is this thing that na ki I think that it's not really good. Like at least like a till the first standard to fourth standard, students should are supposed to be come to the Gurukul. At least this is my opinion. I don't know in the future this change might be. I'm not really sure about that. But I think that na ki I am completely neglect my Gurukul program from first standard to fourth standard, and I realize my mistake, because that's a very essential important thing that ki I have to be kind of like a teach them a basic thing that I want, reading and basic mathematics. Okay, yeah. So how do I supposed to do that? How the Gurukul program will kind of like assembly execute this thing? Well, I have kind of like a one specific window that I could showcase. Specific window means what? Like a student will kind of like a come to the school, and almost like a 6 hour or 5 hour they will kind of like a spend time in the school. Okay, yeah. So in that 5 hour, I have to be kind of like a make them kind of like a read and do basic mathematics. How? One thing is that ki I will not gonna teach them by conventional methodology. I will gonna teach them by words. Okay, yeah. Sorry, images. Okay, images. Elephant. This is the elephant, not ELEPHENT. Okay, yeah. Reading. Like a reading, I shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a teach them very much properly. At least at the moment, I don't know how do I supposed to kind of like a make them read, because like a, this kind of like a skill should supposed to develop by themselves. And as also is this thing na ki till the age of 10, kind of like some students are very they don't really listen anybody. Okay, and that is their nature, they are kids. So I don't know how do I supposed to do this thing. Okay, yeah, that is this is a kind of like a stuff that like I have entire plan regarding about how do I kind of like a nurture students after the age 10. Okay, like what kind of like assembly skill should I supposed to taught them, what kind of like assembly lecture, sports and things and that. But till the age of 10, I don't really have any kind of like a protocols or guidelines and things and that. I still don't know how do I supposed to teach them, because how do I supposed to teach them A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, probably. Like, but that is very much essential, na, dude. Like, basically, this thing that's a very crucial, important year, and I have to be kind of like somebody is this thing that can execute it very much properly. Okay, how do I supposed to do that? Well, first of all, is that ki everything I have to be teach them by kind of like a something images. Okay, so that they consume more information. One thing. Another thing is that ki everything should supposed to be kind of like a somebody have a melody. Melody means what? The stuff that I'm saying is a kind of like a very flat tone. Melody means like that A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. Like basically adding a melody in the every words that I say. So if I do that thing, probably it might gonna get kind of like a somebody much more kind of like a something equivalent, much more kind of like a somebody thing, they get more information. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that ki like physical activity. Okay, like basically is this thing the only way that I could kind of like make them better, that kind of like a teaching, and it depends on how do I supposed to teach them. Okay, yeah. Obviously my like I am trying to making sure that ki kind of like somebody using melody or using images as much as it possible. Okay, yeah. Dancing would be kind of like a really much essential. Okay, why dancing? Okay, yeah. Dancing is that ki kids are not really kind of like a something consume the information, the word that I'm saying. Like basically you are consuming information because of you are kind of like a somebody focusing on my stuff that the stuff that you are kind of like hearing and things and that. Kids are not. Kids does not consume the information by just hearing. No. If I wanted to let them consume information, consume the knowledge and things and that, I have to be do little less of mouth, more of physical, more of kind of like somebody body language and things and that. And that body language actually come from the dance. Okay, yeah. Like A for apple, B for ball. I don't know how they're supposed to do this thing, but this is kind of like a much more better way to kind of like a somebody is just saying that ki more physical activity, so that students should supposed to be as a kind of like kids will kind of like a get more information, absorb much more information, I think. Okay, yeah. Okay. um I use this melody and kind of like a dance and physical thing with kind of like a somebody do the multiple teaching, like A for apple, B for ball, twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, then mathematics, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5. So basically this thing I have to use a kind of like a multiple surprises, so that they would supposed to be no, okay, this is a wrong, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and student will say no, this is not 4, this is a 5. Okay, so this is the 4, no, this is not 4, this is a 3. Okay, this is a 4, no, this is not 4, this is a 3. Okay, this is a 4, no, this is not 4, this is a 2. Okay, is this 4? Yeah, is this 4? Okay, so probably this might gonna, if I kind of like a teach him that way, kind of like a get more information regarding about numbers. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that na ki I have to use melody, I have to use a kind of like a somebody, like it's a performance art, it's not a kind of like a teaching probably. Okay, because of that na ki if I like a basically this thing, teaching a kind of like a complex subject is far more easier, like a basically like I can able to be kind of like a teach very much kind of like a very much nicely regarding about how the IC engine work, or how the kind of like a basic science thing work. But kind of like a teaching this kind of like a assembly melody, that is a like a very much big challenge, because you have to use a kind of like your expression, your melody, your words to kind of like assembly explain much more vividly, so that student will get the information. Okay, yeah. um as also is this thing na, another thing that I realized that ki their part, their exits, their kind of like somebody is this thing, their interests are much more essential to kind of like execute my teaching. Interest means what? I wanted that ki till the first standard to the fourth standard, if I teach them, students should supposed to shout aloud. Okay, I wanted that ki students should supposed to be like a kid should supposed to be shouted as much as they want. Okay, yeah. Like a kind of like a somebody yelling and things and that, like a basically like a, if I'm gonna say 1 plus 1, student will gonna say 2, and everyone will gonna say this thing. Okay, yeah, like right now I'm kind of like doing a lot of stupid activity, but this is what I have to be kind of like a do it, because like I have to kind of like express the information by physical activity, by physical appearance, by physical things and that and that. So this is a way. Okay, yeah. But reading and okay, yeah, let's talk about the reading. Okay, yeah. Like what kind of like some stuff that I want, like a reading means what, like a, is this supposed to be read like a basically, okay, I am going to the school and things and that? No, it's just like that na, kids should supposed to be understand that ki okay, I am going to the school means I am going to the school. Yeah, like basically this thing na ki um like every word that I say, does they understand? That is a bit more essential. Another big problem, dude, I'm living in India, and obviously is this thing na ki which language should I supposed to choose to teach them? Okay, because um, English is a kind of like okay, in India English is a kind of like something far more available in everywhere. But the problem is that na ki regional language, okay, Marathi, Kannada, Gujarati, or things and that. Should I kind of like a teach those language or teach English language? This is kind of like a big question. Okay, because of that, na, ki if I teach them English language, then okay, it might gonna work, because English is a language is a kind of like a utilized in the world and things and that, and obviously it might gonna kind of like add value. But not teaching them kind of like their cultural language, like Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, or Kannada, or kind of like a Tamil, or things and that. It's also not really good too, because I also wanted that they will stick to their culture, stick with their language and things and that. And if I kind of like a teaching both language, like English plus Tamil, then it's not gonna work out. Like it's kind of like overwhelming for them. So this is a kind of like a thing that I'm not really sure how do I supposed to do that. Okay, yeah. I might gonna teach them in English, but still is this thing that na ki culture, heritage, point of perspective is really essential. Like basically is this thing I don't want that students should supposed to be kind of like a really good at English, but they don't really read any Tamil text or any kind of like a Dravidian text. That is also not really good. Not just Dravidian text, but also kind of like a Marathi text or kind of like a Hindi or kind of like a things and text and that. Okay, yeah. Like I kind of like still fumble that I cannot able to be write my Marathi language. Like literally just think that na ki okay, yeah, let me okay. Okay. Throughout my entire life, I consume English more, and I could write, I could read, I could imagine, I could talk in English. But if I say my kind of like my language is a Marathi, and if I kind of like say Marathi, so can I able to be write Marathi? Okay, I haven't been really writing for Marathi for I don't know. Okay, yeah. So basically this thing I'm gonna write my name. Okay, माझं झ माझं मा 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 झ. How do I supposed to write झ? Wait, I cannot write Marathi. Oh shit. मा झ झ कसं लिहिते यार? झ मा मा माझं झ झ मा मा माझं ओके ज इट्स नॉट झ इट्स माझं नाव आहे हे सौरभ I still say Saurabh as a URBH. Okay, Saurabh. Saurabh Avathare. Avathare. Okay. So basically, this is a kind of like a text that I wrote in Marathi. Okay, if you are kind of like getting in mirror probably. Okay, this is kind of like a very simple text and I cannot able to be write like literally just like that. I'm kind of like getting very much fumble. Okay, so let's just write another kind of like a Marathi text. Okay, yeah. मी वर्धेत राहतो. ओके, या मी वर्धेत राहतो. मी वर्धेत राहतो. ओके, हा. ओके. माझ्या वडिलांचं नाव हिरामन अवथरे आहे. झा कसं लिहिते यार? हाऊ डू आय सपोज टू राईट झा इट्स अ धा. नो, इट्स नॉट धा, इट्स अ झा. ओके, दिस इज झा. ओके, मी वर्धेत राहतो. माझे वडिलांचं नाव. ओके, wait, it's very hard to I'm kind of like waiting. वडिलांचे नाव आहे हिरामन अवथरे. ओके, माझ्या वडिलांचे नाव आहे हिरामन अवथरे. ओके, हा. ओ माय गॉड. Like looking at this problem, I realized that na ki I'm 32, dude, and literally I cannot write stuff in Marathi. I could read Marathi, it's not really that. I cannot write Marathi that much well. Like basically, if you're kind of like letting me to say this thing, write this thing, I can write very well in English. Marathi is a kind of like a text that I cannot able to be write that much. Like I'm kind of like writing like kind of like a 10-year-old boy. like literally माझे नाव सौरभ अवचरे, the stuff that I'm saying, kind of stuff that I'm kind of like written, kind of like feels like that ki like a 10-year boy kind of like reading this. Oh shit. No, I think that that's the biggest problem, dude. Okay, yeah, like what kind of like a language should I supposed to teach them? Like if I'm not kind of like equipped. Okay, if I'm not kind of like equipped with Marathi language or any kind of like a really religious language, then how do I supposed to kind of like, okay, let's just talk about the language first. For the learning things, is languages matter? No, not really. Okay, let me tell you why. Okay, yeah. So if I wanted to communicate somebody, that particular person communicate in English, I can communicate very much in English. If that particular person communicate in some language that I don't understand, will I able to be communicate? No, I don't. Okay, yeah. So language is a barrier, right? But it doesn't mean that ki you have to learn lot of language. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing na ki what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. This is a kind of like a really legit na. Like this answer might not gonna change if I kind of like change the language and things and that and that. But dude, language is a very essential thing na. Like if it's associate with the culture, it associate with the kind of like it associate with the like a like a like their roots. Okay, yeah. If I let them teach English, how they will write their own language? And if I kind of like teach them in their own language, then it might be kind of like somebody crippled. They might not speak English that much well. Okay, let me kind of like give you from fourth standard, like basically this thing now, our human body, our human mind is a kind of like a very much alert or consume or understand the language much more vividly if that particular person kind of like somebody which language they learn till the age of 10. Okay, yeah, I am speaking very much English very much fluently is because of that ki my entire schooling was actually happen in Marathi. I kind of like come from Marathi and things and that. Throughout till the age of 27, I was speaking Marathi and things and that. But basically, is this thing till the age of after the age of 27, I realized that ki no, I have to be speak much more English because English is an international language, and I have to be kind of like express my thoughts and things and that in English. So I kind of like somebody consuming more English. I started recording my artifact in English, and right now it's been almost like a 5 year. I'm very much fluent. I could think, I could write, I could It's not only that I cannot able to be right and think like that. I could able to be right and things like that, but the way that I'm talking right now is a kind of like somebody is come from the lot of practice that I did. It's is effort. Like I'm putting lot of effort to talk like that way in English. If I kind of like somebody speak those English, like if I went to kind of like English medium school, then probably I might kind of like speak even more better English. But that's a big problem that if I wanted to kind of like give them in my education system, what kind of like a language should I supposed to be kind of like teach them? English or any regional language? That's a big challenge. English is essential. Okay, that student will kind of like communicate in English in the further future. Okay, yeah, because like basically is this thing na ki English is a global language. Okay, it's not like if you think that na ki English is a kind of like some language that kind of like things that ki only for US and Europe people. No, it's not. English is a global language. Okay, yeah. And if I'm kind of like looking at from future point of perspective, then if I'm thinking that na ki English would be kind of like a much more widely acceptable in every other culture and every other kind of religion and every other kind of like some country and things and that. Okay, yeah. As also is this thing that ki after 20 year we gonna talk more to the AI. Okay, yeah, and AI kind of like somebody really good understanding English language. Okay, yeah, they are not really good right now at the moment. They are not really good at kind of like understanding their other religion language or things and that. But it's not really good as well. Like AI could kind of like develop, but language is a kind of like a bit more problem. like this is a kind of like a things that I just kind of like a somebody very much problem that ki should I kind of like a somebody authenticate, should I kind of like a somebody authentic with their culture values and things and that should I kind of like a teach them their own language like a Marathi, Kannada, Hindi, whatever it is, or should I kind of like a teach them English language? Why this kind of like a very much question is kind of like a bother me because of that ki like basically if I wanted to execute the same education reforms in US, then probably in the US they have kind of like a one single language, Marathi. But in India, there is a very diverse country. Every state has its own unique languages, and obviously I have to be teach their own language, not just English language. Okay, yeah. Even if I know that ki English language is kind of like a far much more important for them in the further future, but I have to be teach them their own cultural language because is this thing na ki it associate with them with their groundwork, like basically is this thing that ki they will stick with their culture, they will stick with their own language and things and that like I am kind of like a writing this Marathi text kind of like a somebody like a kind of like a 10-year boy kind of like a writing right now, and I'm kind of like a somebody write after so many years after, like literally, like I could like literally this is a kind of like a somebody the English stuff that I wrote. Okay, yeah. And what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, like if I'm kind of like writing this English text, it doesn't really kind of like a bother me, it doesn't really kind of like complicate me that much. But writing Marathi word, I cannot write jh like literally I'm kind of like writing the okay first, then I kind of like realize okay this is a jh, I completely forgot this is letter jh. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like this is the kind of like a problem that I just not really understand that which language should I supposed to be teach them, English or their culture. I'm pretty much sure that culture language is very much essential, and I have to be teach them their culture language. But if I kind of like teach them English too, then that's a big problem. That's a big problem. And my Gurukul program will kind of like a somebody like it's not really that ki my Gurukul program have a kind of like a something specific language. No, like my Gurukul program is a kind of like a somebody is this thing that kid can kind of like a somebody getting to learn things by their own whatever the language. Okay, it's not really that. That's a big problem, dude. That's a big problem. I at the moment I don't really have any answer at the moment. After 20 years I might gonna get this answer. At this moment I don't know. Yeah. Should I supposed to teach them in English or what? This is a big thing. Okay, let's talk about the question number 2. The question number 2 is that ki okay, question number 1 you actually understand. Okay, in the question number 1, okay, yeah, what kind of like a skills that I want from kids should supposed to be learned? Reading and doing basic mathematics. Okay, yeah. Now reading and kind of like a basic mathematics, I already told you regarding about using hand gesture, melody, or kind of like a things and that because till the age of 10 students are not really equipped with that thing. But the bigger problem is that language. Okay, yeah. Second question, how do we know that kids are actually learning? Like should I kind of like give them test assessment or what? Test, should I kind of like give them test? I think that yeah, probably because of that ki Gurukul program will not gonna execute till the like a before age 10. No. So before age 10 I have to be kind of like a somebody do assessment by exam, but not the kind of like exam that you think it is. Exam means like that ki is that particular student is kind of like a literally learning or not. Like in this particular context now, in this particular thing, there is a one thing I realized that na ki I cannot able to control that much. Gurukul program will not gonna control that much. Why? Because there is no very less implementation happen. Another thing is that ki it's completely depend upon who is actually teaching. Okay, because from first to 5 year to 10 year, teacher are kind of like a very incredible source of what kind of like a teaching that they are getting. So teacher will gonna assessment regarding about that ki will that student is actually learning, actually kind of like a reading a text or doing basic mathematics or not. Okay, yeah. And as also is this saying that na ki that's a big problem. Okay, that's a big problem. I haven't really think about that much about this stuff, but right now I'm thinking and I don't know have any answer specifically regarding about which language should I supposed to be teach them. I'm like basically saying if I'm not kind of like it's me writing Marathi text, how do I supposed to expect them kind of like some the student that they should supposed to be write their own language much more better and things and that and that. Oh boy. At this moment I don't really have any answer regarding about that. Might be kind of like a next 20 year I might have answer probably. I don't know. This is it. This then. Thank you.